going on, everybody? Happy Monday? Is it
Monday!
Katie, is this your favorite day of the week?
Monday, fun day, best day of the week.
But is it really?
It really is.
Oh, why? Why is Monday your favorite day?
Because there's a schedule and people work on Mondays and it's a day to get stuff done.
Was that a backhanded comment at the freaking weekends?
Fridays in particular. Yes.
You don't like Fridays?
No, ain't nobody working on Fridays. Everybody's taking Friday off.
That's fine. Who wants to
Everybody's
work?
checked out on Friday.
Nobody wants to work on Fridays.
They don't.
Work is not fun.
I don't even know what work is anymore. Work is so fun, and work is. That's why I like Mondays. I don't know. There's routine. Everybody's. I don't know. I like Mondays.
What would you say to the people out there who don't like Mondays or don't like work in general?
I don't know.
The thing that most people do the most, they spend the most time, the most energy, the most attention on. Well, what piece of advice would you give to people who's like, I don't like Mondays, I don't like work?
Find things that you do like about it and just focus on those.
It's too simple.
I mean, if all you focus on is the things that you don't like, you're going to end up getting more of what you don't like, and then you're going to not like it even more. So why not just kind of think about things that you actually like and that you actually enjoy, and then hyper focus on those, and then those actually multiply. And then before you know it, you're like 33 years old and you're a real estate investor, and it's like, what? How did this happen?
That was Kitty's story. So let's actually talk about this. So today we're going to be talking about finding deals, funding deals, and managing deals, which is, by the way, the only way you can get into a deal. Those are always three components. So every time someone asks me, like, I want to get into real estate, I'm like, well, which one of those three things do you have a skill set in, or can you bring to the table on a deal? Or like, where can you go find those deals or go find those skill sets? And so we're going to talk about that today. Before we do, let's talk a little bit about how we got into the game.
That's fun.
That sound like fun? So, Katie, how did it all start? And I don't mean like at our first transaction, because we talked about our first transaction last week.
Yep.
Right? Which, by the way, did that close?
Yes.
Nice. Did you get a nice fat check?
I did.
Did you go like spend it on Louis Vuitton bags and new cars?
No, I totally even forgot to check the bank account and see the number in the bank account. Because I got too much stuff going on right now. But it's awesome because I'm not spending it. It's gonna be another real estate investment.
Didn't even know it was there.
No, I didn't.
Surprised.
I really didn't.
Was surprised that it was there. I actually was surprised it was there too. I forgot about it. So yeah, so let's talk about how we got into the game of real estate. And it was before we even purchased our first property, which we just closed on last week. If you guys didn't watch that episode, go back last week and listen to our episode of how we found that deal, how we only had to put down $2,000 to buy that deal, and how we made over $200,000 on the exit of that deal, tax-free, homie. Right? So go back and listen to that if you're curious. But that's actually not where our real estate journey started.
No, it didn't.
Where did it start at?
I can't like really put a pinpoint on exactly where it started, but I knew that we knew real estate was the answer to financial freedom, the quickest answer to financial freedom. And so we got down on a ton of books, a ton of different seminars. We went to a Robert Kiyosaki seminar way back in the day.
Yeah. And we're going to a Robert Kiyosaki event, an actual Robert Kiyosaki event, where he actually will be there in 2 weeks. It's pretty exciting, huh?
It's awesome.
Yeah. And so so people out there, like, if you listen to this, you probably like real estate. Maybe somebody's still on the fence. They're like, I just like stocks. Maybe I like Bitcoin. I like other types of crypto, or maybe you like gold, silver. Unless you're 70 or 80 years old, you probably don't like gold or silver. But for everybody else out there, what about real estate attracted you about it before you even got into it? Like, what was it about real estate that was like, I want to learn about that. I want to put my energy and focus into that thing.
Yeah, I think there's two pieces to it. So the first is it's tangible. Like, I can drive by a property that I own and be like, that is mine. I mean, it's never really mine because I still have to pay taxes on it, but that is, mostly mine. And the second part is the simplicity of real estate. Like, it made sense in my mind that I own a piece of property. What I pay in mortgage, taxes, insurance is going to be an amount. And then what I rent it for is going to be higher than that. And it was just I like numbers. Math is simple. And it was like, this makes sense to me. I had a 401k when I was an employee, and I didn't understand how it worked. Other than my employer told me
you couldn't live in your 401k.
I could not live in my 401k. I couldn't even pull money out of it. I was
Can you rent out your 401k?
fined when I wanted to take my money out. No, I can't drive my 401k around.
You should have rented your 401k.
It was like this mystery bank account that was like untouchable, but my employer said, I'm going to match money to put in there. So I was like, well, that sounds like free money to me. Why would I not do that? But it didn't make sense. So like the simplicity of real estate was very, very attractive to me. And the numbers made sense. And I didn't have to wait till I was 65 years old to reap any benefits. I didn't have to wait any amount of time. I guess I did have to wait until I actually purchased a property to reap any benefits.
Which is the next problem with real estate. That was like, so it was like 2015 is when we decided like we want to invest in real estate. We wanted to be part of that real estate game, right?
Yeah.
And we just talked about it. Like, what is the biggest barrier to entry to real estate? Can you just like stick $1 into real estate like you can your 401k, or stick half your paycheck into a cash flowing property?
No, it is a huge financial commitment.
Oh, so it's not as easy as sticking your money into a 401k.
Yeah.
Well, told you. I told you there was a problem with real estate. Told you it's not easy.
Yeah.
If it's not easy, I don't want to do it. Right?
I guess, yeah. That's fine. You don't have to do it.
How long from 2015 did it take us to buy our first primary home?
2 years.
How long did it take us to buy our first investment property?
4 years.
So what happened over those years to us to be able to not only purchase our primary, but then eventually invest in a primary or in an investment property?
We made a lot of cash. So we stashed cash like it was going out of style.
Yeah.
Which was actually, it was funny. As we started to find success in business and make money, it ended up, the feeling of scarcity rose. It was the most bizarre feeling. Like, I had never had so much money in my life, but I had also never been so scared that it could just like poof and be gone the next day. It was terrifying. It was the weirdest feeling ever, because I thought that money in the bank was going to give me security, and it didn't. It actually did the opposite. It like made me scared to do anything.
I don't want to spend it. I want to leave it there. Every single time it went down, got scared. So there is a barrier to entry into game real estate, which is being able to have the funds. So money is a barrier to entry. What other barriers to entry did you find that stopped you from buying your first property, your first deal?
Credit is another one. I had great credit. I had,
but what else is involved in the purchasing of a property? Is it just credit, or is there?
No, a lender.
Yeah. Well, what else does a lender look at outside of just credit? Like
income.
You have an amazing credit score. Like Kitty has the best freaking credit score in the United States. And if not in the United States, at least in Montana. Okay. She's the highest. She's like a 1,000 on a scale of, I think it goes up to like 850, right? Amazing credit. You want to do business with Katie because she's very trustworthy. She pays her bills 3 days before they're even due. Okay. So credit is one thing. What else do you need for you to be lendable to a bank?
Income.
How was your income?
It was awesome. I was an employee. It was consistent.
Yeah. Well, those are different things. Income is different than being an employee, which we're going to talk about. Those things are separate. So income is another qualification, right? So you need a reasonable income.
Yes.
And how much were you pre-qualified for? Do you remember?
I think it was like 270.
Right. And so your income is going to dictate how much you get qualified for. Okay. So we have our credit score, which is going to decide if we even get qualifying. And the third thing, I'm skipping number 2, which we talked about, is the amount of income, but the type of income, right? You said you were a what?
An employee.
An employee versus what else out there? Like, isn't everyone just an employee?
No, an entrepreneur, business owner.
Yeah.
Solopreneur.
And technically you call those like a 1099, right?
Yes.
So you have 1099 versus W2. Which ones do the bank like better?
They like W2s a heck of a lot better because they're predictable and they're consistent, and yeah.
Because if you ever owned a business, you always know who gets paid first, your staff or you as the owner.
Well,
everybody thinks that
staff.
It's the freaking owners that get paid first, but it's not the truth. Your staff gets paid first, and then whatever's left over, then the owner takes, right? And so the banks understand that as well. So when they see you as a W-2, they know that you're going to get paid first. So they look for credit. They look for whether you're W-2 or you're 1099, and they look for your amount of income. What else do they look for?
Debt to income. So if you have debt, how much debt do you have, and what are your payments every month
in comparison
to your income?
Right. So those are the 4 things that lenders are looking for, and you can actually break those down individually and and dissect what's a good credit score, what's a good debt to income, what is it just a good income, and so those things we can break down individually as well, but we're not going to. However, let's talk a little bit about the other qualifying standpoint, because like 2 biggest ones is how much money do I make versus my debt, and how do you make yourself look better on paper. You can either increase your income, which as a W-2 employee, like how easy is that to do?
Not very easy.
It's not very easy to do, right? Can you decrease your debts?
Yeah.
Generally speaking, right?
But then I have less for a down payment.
Then you have less because you're doing what with that money?
Putting it towards debt.
Right. And so you can see that there is a dilemma here when it comes to getting traditional financing on your first property, right? And so these are the things that took us years to figure out, was trying to play this game of how do we show enough income? How do we have enough money in the bank? How do we also just survive and live and like pay our bills outside of like our mortgage and interest? And
yeah, banks are really smart. They actually will not let you get into a situation that you cannot afford. So that's why they do all of this checking and making sure that you don't exceed a certain threshold of your debt to income, because they want to be paid. Like, they are very smart and they protect themselves by screening you.
Yeah, because everyone talks about the crash 2007, 2008, 2009, right? Especially right now as the housing market keeps going whoop, up and up. Everyone's like, it's gonna crash. It's gonna freaking crash. It has to. Can't keep going this way, right? As everybody says.
Yeah.
When you understand the market fundamentals of why it crashed in 2007, 2008, do you know why it crashed? Do you actually know why it crashed?
Banks. They were lending to anybody and everybody.
It's called a fog loan. If you could fog a freaking mirror, you could get a freaking loan. And so people who should not have been getting loans, who could not pay for these houses, banks were just saying, here you go, here you go, here you go. They were doing, okay, so we just talked about how you have to qualify now for getting loans. Well, what we didn't tell you is, like, if you're 1099, which is what we are, you have to give away your child to them as collateral, essentially, right? You have to give them your bank statements. You have to give them your P&Ls. You have to give them your taxes for the last like 3, 4, 5 freaking years. You have to give all this stuff. And when you own properties, then they want your mortgages, your up-to-date mortgage insurance. They want your rent rolls. They want all this stuff. And they just want a lot of things. Okay. So that's to anchor you, and understanding that 2007, 2008, 2009, you could give them a verbal. You could tell them that I make $150,000, and you could just say it. And they'd be like, okay. And you could sign your freaking closing documents.
Banks got smart.
What the hell? Are you freaking kidding me? We would have owned so much property 2007, 2008, right? We would own so much. We own a lot of property right now. Like, we're going to continue to own a lot of property right now. But 2007, 2008, we would, oh my God, 10 times as much. It would be just so easy, which is really good. It's really good that we can't, because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So with that being said, that is why the market crashed, because they were giving people who couldn't afford loans. And so when the market did make a correction, and here's the second piece of that, the people who couldn't afford loans, they didn't know why they're buying real estate. They were like, oh, it's going up. I'll just ride this thing up. Which meant they were buying for what?
I don't know. Pleasure, not.
Well, were they buying?
Appreciation.
They were buying for appreciation, right? They were buying, which is like, appreciation is gambling. Like, how many properties do we buy with appreciation being the main focus?
0.
Absolutely freaking 0. Appreciation is gambling. It's literally going to the roulette table. No, blackjack table, and saying, which one am I going to pick today? Right? Black or red? Or maybe I'll pick roulette. A number. Oh, that is roulette.
Yeah.
What did I say? Blackjack?
Blackjack.
Oh yeah, that's not blackjack. I'm really good at gambling. See how much I hate gambling. So roulette, and that is really what appreciation is. It is like sure, like it's gonna probably be black or red, but sometimes it's not, actually, because there's a little freaking green guy, right? The 0 guy in the roulette table, it's not always black or red. And so that's what banking on appreciation is in real estate, is that there's a good chance it might go up or might go down, right? It might go black or red. However, if you're only playing the game for that, you leave yourself up to a big opportunity to get burned because you're playing on just on luck. How do we buy real estate?
We always buy for cash flow.
Always buy for cash flow, which is great because we get active income. But is that the main reason why we buy for cash flow?
No, for security reasons. Like you want to be able to pay your mortgage.
So if this is great, right? If our property drops by 10% or 20% in value, does our mortgage change?
No.
Okay. So if our cash flow is $500 a month and our property loses 20% of its value, does that change our cash flow?
No.
Okay. So why the hell would we sell if the property drops 20%?
We wouldn't.
You wouldn't, right? However, if you're breaking even or you're not cash flowing, let's say you're losing $100 a month because you're banking on appreciation, what happens when that property loses 20% of its value? Do you still feel confident enough to hold that property?
That's a tough decision.
So now your property is losing $100 a month, and it just went from you bought it for $500,000, now it's worth $450,000, and it looks like and it's continuing to look like it's going to go down. Now it's on its way to $400,000. Like, what are you doing? Are you keeping it, or are you going to try to cut your losses? And you're losing money every single month. Therein lies the predicament. That's why when you have cash flow, as long as you don't have a reason to sell it, as long as you don't have a balloon payment, as long as you don't have anything outside that's going to change your cash flow, why would you ever sell it? Which goes back to our second reason why people got in trouble in 2007, 2008, is that the type of loans they were getting. So not only the banks were just everyone's best freaking friend in 2007, 2008. Okay. Not only were they just giving everybody a loan, guess what else they were doing, Katie?
What were they doing?
They were giving people introductory interest rates that were adjustable.
Ouch.
That were adjustable being the key word. Okay. So what they were doing is they're saying, hey, I'll give you this phenomenal interest rate. Like people think interest rates are low right now at 3%. Now they're going up a little bit, 4%. Back then, they're actually giving away like 2% interest rates. To start, right? They would get it for the first year or the first 24 months. And then you know what those interest rates would jump up to? It would jump up to whatever prime plus 1% or 2% is, right? At that time, guess what happened? It jumped up to like 7, 8, 9, 10%. And now those properties that were breaking even or maybe had a little bit of cash flow, guess what happened to their cash flow? Because their mortgage payment, which way did it go? Up or down when the mortgage rates went up?
Up.
So now they were underwater $300, $400, $500 a month because the interest rates climbed. Do you see? And they're banking on appreciation. And guess what happened? Were they getting appreciation 2007, 2008? So now they were underwater and they were negatively cash flowing.
That sounds like a terrible situation.
Does that sound like a crash of 2007, 2008?
Yeah.
So that is why that happened. Okay. So everyone's like, oh my God, it just has to. Like, there's no way for the prices to go up, up, and up. That is not why the market crashed in 2008. That's not why it's going to crash again in the future. It will make a correction. It will crash, but it's not going to be based on the same fundamentals. It won't be based on the banks in this specific situation because we go through the banks and lenders all the time. And I'm telling you what, they learn their lesson, right? They learn their lesson. So that's how we got in. So with that being said, let's go back to this origin story of how we got into real estate. We got educated, right? We saved some cash. We started to figure out how this whole process worked. What else did we do that was maybe that we did in order to set ourselves up to buying our first primary in 2017 and then eventually our first investment property in 2019, 4 years after we decided that we wanted to get into the game of real estate?
Yeah, we started talking about it to everybody that we knew, and kind of told the world what we wanted. The world is not going to give you what you want if they don't know what you want.
And so that's how we got our very first primary home. Is Katie was out there just putting offers in. She got qualified. She understood what her buy box was. And she put offers in, and you got them all accepted, right?
No.
Right. She put in like 7 or 8 offers and they all got denied. And out of desire, Katie's like, I got to figure this out. Like she was committed. And so once you're committed, then the strategy becomes secondary to that, right? Mm-hmm. Because your original strategy no longer worked. Mm-hmm. So then what did you do after that?
I just started telling everybody. I still didn't know the solution. I didn't even know what seller financing was at the time. I literally just told everybody kind of my journey and my frustrations. And then lo and behold, somebody offered me something that was insane at the time. I mean, I still don't even comprehend like the reality of that situation, but I just started talking about it.
Yeah. And how did that, so you started talking about it. What ended up happening? You said someone offered you a home. How'd that work?
Yeah, she said she owned the home outright. So she seller financed it to me at a 4.5% interest rate with $2,000 down. At the time when I was
Those
applying,
are good terms.
Yeah, insane terms.
we,
Like I didn't
we negotiated the hell out of that deal.
No, we didn't. We just fell into our lap very kindly.
I'm such a good salesperson. I negotiated that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Katie just put it out there, and someone saw that all the work she was doing and effort and wanted to help her out, right? And I just had to be in the right place at the right time, and I got to get on that deal as well. And that's how we got our very first property, right? Now, fast forward 2 more years. How did we get our first investment property? How did that shape up?
Yeah. So same thing. We had friends. We actually owned a gym at the time, and some of our clients were real estate agents, and we just told them that we were looking to invest. And a couple were thrown at us, and we put an offer in on one, and 6 months went by, small negotiations, and basically it was not going to work out. And then one day he called and he's like, "They accepted your offer." And it was a foreclosure. Bizarre situation, but it's very similar. I mean, literally, we just talk to people. Like, it's all about relationships, connecting with people, telling people what you're looking for, and when they have it, they will present it to you.
Yeah. And so I'll back up a little bit, because I think a lot of times, obviously, there's the money, there's the credit, there's finding the deal. Like, those are all things that are strategic things. But I think one of the things that we did is we also got educated. We put ourselves around the right people that when we got into situations, we could ask help for, we could bring our problems to, and they would help guide us.
Mm-hmm.
And so in 2015, I was at what are those, like a networking group?
Biz to Biz.
Biz to Biz is what it was called. A lot of people think of it, or in a lot of people's towns, it's called BNI groups, right? So they're basically the groups where there's like I was a personal trainer, then there was an insurance agent, then there was a massage therapist in there. There's a physical therapist in there. Marketing, right? You have all your different businesses. You'll only can have one of every single industry in that group. And the whole goal is for everyone to pass around referrals and clients. And I was in that group for 2 years. You know how many clients I got? Actually, not even clients. You know how many leads I got? Two in 2 years. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience.
And one you coached for free.
However, one of the things that I got from that group was that I found someone in that group that at the end of each meeting, you went around and you told like a 30-second commercial about your business, right? Like, hi, I'm Logan Manzanares with Big Sky Barbell. We're doing a free 6-week challenge. If you want to lose 20 pounds, that you can join the challenge, yada, 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 right? And so every single time you went around and you gave everybody your pitch. Well, there was one guy in there, he started talking about his rentals and real estate, and he was in the blind business. And I was like, what? Confused, right? But inside that community, inside that group, you're really encouraged to go meet people outside of the group and like go network. And so I was like, hey, let me take you to lunch, right? Like, there was something about him. And this was 2015, right? So I didn't have, like, we didn't have any properties, we didn't have any money, we didn't have anything, right? I was like literally just trying to start my business. But I also knew that I wanted to get into real estate. And so I took him out to lunch, and lo and behold, this guy is like $30,000 in cash flow from his rental properties. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing in a freaking biz to biz group, right? And then I come to find out that he just had friends. So he was in the blind business. He had friends that were inside, the construction industry, like where like there was a water guy in there, there was a construction, there was a realtor, and these were like all of his buddies that he just like went there to hang out for an hour so he could hang out with his buddies, right? He was looking for leads, and I was like, okay, this guy's freaking amazing. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, how do I provide value to this guy, right? I was like, I gotta know this guy more. How do I provide value to him? I didn't have any money. I didn't have any real estate. I didn't have, like, he was way, way further along the journey than I was, like not even close. And so I started thinking about it. I was like, well, I'm a personal trainer. right? And everyone wants to lose weight, I think, right? And so I offered to train him for free if he would just teach me about real estate. What do you think he said to that?
Yeah.
He said, "Heck yeah, right? Heck yeah, I will, I will teach you everything I know about real estate. You train me for free." So that's what I did. But I did make a big mistake. You know what that mistake was?
You didn't put an end date to the training.
I didn't put an end date, right? And so I remember sitting there after 2 weeks. I was like, I cannot think of another question to ask this guy after one of our sessions. 2 weeks. And
another reason why I'm attracted to real estate. It's simple.
And I was like, shit. And so I went on to train him for the next 9 months. And was that one of the biggest mistakes I made or one of the best things I did?
Best things.
Because what it forced me to realize was that it had nothing to do with the education about freaking real estate, but everything to do with the relationship in real estate. And so through those remaining 8.5 months, I got to learn about him on a personal level. I learned about his family, his business, and I got to develop a strong relationship with somebody who we would go on to become friends. And that relationship was dug in 2015, 2016. Keep in mind, we didn't buy our first true investment property till 2019, right? So we had been digging this relationship for 3 years. And all of a sudden we got the opportunity to buy our first investment property. Who do you think the first person I called was?
Him.
It was him, right? And really, it was just calling him to just say, hey, what do you think? Like, we have this deal locked up. Here are the numbers. Like, just give us some feedback. Just let us know that we're doing something right. And I remember him walking around. He's like, yeah, it'll work. That's it. I was like, okay, right. I seeked that approval. And then the next deal we did, same thing. He just walked around it. It'll work, right? Third deal, same thing. And then finally, at the end of 2020, I came across this amazing deal on Craigslist. I was like, wow, this deal is really good. I chatted with the guy who was selling it. He actually bought it from the original homeowner. He was going to try to flip it, and he ran out of cash. He got hurt by COVID. And I was like, wow, this is a good deal. And I didn't have the resources to take that deal down myself, right? I didn't have a construction crew. I didn't have the cash I needed to close on that deal. And so I called this guy who I had trained for free for 9 months, and we built this relationship with him over the next couple of years. And I said, hey, I think I have a deal. And so he came, and we ended up talking about the deal. And he's like, let's do it together. Right. And so we ended up buying that deal together. It was our first partnership we did. And it turned out to be an amazing deal. We still own that deal. Katie was just there today, actually. And that was cool, right? That was amazing. We're like, wow, we're actually in business with this guy who was like our mentor and who we looked up to for such a long time. And then fast forward, 2021, we bought 3 more deals with him. We bought 3 more deals with him. And then we just bought one this year with him as well. And man, it's just like, it's a relationship game, right? And so as much as I'd love to say that we saved a bunch of money, we just put a down payment down, and that's how it happened, is there was a lot more to the story, right? And really, it's the things that people can't see that are actually the X factors into actually being good at anything, but definitely in the game of real estate.
For sure.
And it's just freaking people, right? It's just people. That's the game. It's all about people. And we, unbeknownst to us, we are now highly aware of that, but for a lot of years, we were not really aware. Like it's something that we're like naturally, we do enjoy people, and so there were certain people like for instance, like him was something that I latched onto. However, our mindset around that now is like completely transformed. Like every single day, I'm looking for opportunities to meet people, talk with people, create relationships, do business with people, and honestly, that's why we do this podcast. Right? It's called Invest With Us. Why is it called Invest With Us?
Because we want you to invest with us.
Because we want you to invest with us, right? We don't want you to have to go through 4 or 5 years. And that was like, I'm just giving you the cliff notes. Like there was a lot of education, a lot of learning, a lot that went into it in order for us to get to this situation. And I actually don't think that everyone has to go through that situation. And we didn't have to either. It was just the path that we ended up going down. Like we could have shortcutted that process a lot faster. If what?
If we like got out of the house.
Yeah, if we actually left the house and talked to people, right? And we were willing to actually build relationships and build trust in other people and share a piece of the watermelon rather than having the whole freaking grape, right?
Yeah.
And so when it comes to every single deal, there is, like I said earlier, there's actually 3 components to every single deal. You got to be able to find the deal, got to be able to fund the deal, and you have to be able to manage the deal,
Mhm.
right? And so we did the long route, and we figured out how to do all three of those. And so it takes a lot of time. It's a skill set. It's not something that you just like are born overnight. Even if you have cash, like you still got to find the deal. And you got to know how to manage the deal in order to make it so it not only cash flows, but also it appreciates. And so you actually do a good job with the property so it doesn't dilapidate. You got to put good renters in there. You don't have headaches. So you want to buy more real estate, not just buy one property and be like, I don't like tenants. That person ruined my carpet. They called me at nighttime. They don't respect my property. They don't pay rent. You know what? They didn't pay cash this month to me. What's up with that? Right? And so there's a lot to managing a property. There's a lot to funding a property. And there's a lot to finding the deal. And so I think that was our point today, which is to understand that there's those three components. And for you to understand, where do you add value? Right? Like, where can you insert yourself into a deal today? Like, do you have money? Hey, if you have money and you want to invest with somebody who knows how to find deals, how to manage deal, like, go insert yourself into a deal that way. Maybe you know how to find deals. Maybe you're like really good at finding deals. And so you go find a deal, and guess what? You'll find the next piece you got to do is just you got to go find somebody who has the funding, who has the credit, and then also someone who can manage the deal. That's all you got to do. Or maybe you're a manager, right? Maybe you're boots on the ground. So let's say you find somebody who knows how to find deals and knows how to get the funding to the deals. You know where you can add value to is like being boots on the ground. You can be the person, you can be the worker bee, right? You can go take pictures. You can go set up furniture. You can be boots on the ground. Like when a tenant locks themselves out of the house, you can go run over there. You can go do showings. There's so many opportunities that you have in all three of those components: finding the deal, funding the deal, and managing the deal. You just got to figure out where you can insert yourself in, right? Anything else you want to add to that?
No, that's it.
That's it. And what if you don't have any of those skill sets and you want to get into the game of real estate? Then what do you do?
Educate yourself.
Where are you educated at?
Find people who have one of those things or do one of those things, and just provide value to them.
There's like two pieces of education, right? I should say there's two verticals in education. The first one is just free. Like, there's free education. Like, this is a free education. Like, you can come chat with us and you can do that for free. Like, we have content, we have YouTube. Hey, if you're on our YouTube, awesome. Please like this, subscribe on this. If you're on our Instagram, or if you don't have Instagram, go subscribe to us on Instagram. Our little handles are down below. Like, go get free content, right? There's other amazing people out there doing lots of real estate content. Our mentors, Pace Morby, does a lot of amazing stuff. Bigger Pockets is another place you can go find free content. Like, those are all free verticals. Okay. They put free stuff out on YouTube and on the internet. You can also do paid mentorship, right? Like, you can go hire someone and you can go a lot quicker. Some people, depends on where you're at in your journey, you might be ready just for free content, or maybe you need maybe you're ready for the next level and you need a community. You can go do a paid mentorship. Again, we do lots of paid mentorships. In fact, we're going on Wednesday, we're going to a different paid mentorship. We're in lots of masterminds. We believe in education. We're at that point in our lives where we're willing to pay for speed. And that's really what you do, is that if you have no money and you have lots of time, go do free stuff. If you have money and you have no time, pay for education, pay for mentors, pay for people who are going to drag you up to their level, right? So that's the education piece of it. And there's obviously there's outliers that you can have a little bit of both inside there. However, those are just the two standard verticals that you can get educated on, right?
Yeah.
And so go get educated. Go put your space. So there's really, okay. So I give you the framework of how you go find a deal. There's three other frameworks of what you need to do to be a real estate investor. You need education, is what we're just talking about right now. You know what else you need?
What?
The second E, experience. Okay. The second E is experience. So experience is what? What is experience?
Experience.
Yeah. What does experience in the game of real estate mean?
Buy something.
Yeah.
Get in the game.
But do you always have to buy it? Do you have experience?
No. Talk to people.
You could talk to people. You could be someone's property manager, right? You could be a wholesaler. You could help go find someone private money. You could broker deal. You could find someone a lender. Like, there's lots of ways you can get experience without actually having to own a deal, right? Yeah. You could be a lender, for example. Like, you could lend on a deal, so that way you can get the experience of what it looks like to go to a title company. And so that's what we do with a lot of our people who want to get into the game with us, is they want experience, but they might not have any of those three things, or maybe they only have a little bit of money, and so they use that money to become a lender in one of our deals, and then all of a sudden they get some education to go with that, and they make a little bit of money, right? So that's another way that you can get experience, is by leveraging somebody else, leveraging someone else's track record. So get into a deal, which is 100% right. Okay. And the third thing that people need, excess cash, right? So how do you get excess cash? How did we do it?
Strip. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We blew our business up.
Yeah. We learned how to make money, right? Now, is that going to be the same for everybody else?
No.
How else can you get excess cash?
Go find somebody who has excess cash and use their excess cash.
Arguably the smarter way and the easier way to do it, right?
And the faster way.
Much faster way is just because the deal needs excess cash doesn't mean it has to be your excess cash. But if you can go find the person and you can go solve a problem, you can broker that cash. Essentially, you become valuable, right? And that's how you get into a deal as well. Like, you know, someone who has money and you know someone who needs money, and you broker those things together. Guess what? You can wedge yourself into a deal just by that situation. Okay. So again, let's reemphasize this. You need education, again, which can be free or you can pay for it. You need experience, again, which can be, you can use your own education or you can leverage someone else's experience, excuse me. And the third thing is excess cash. Again, you could create your own excess cash or
go leverage someone else's excess cash, right? But those are the 3 E's that you also need to get into real estate. So hopefully, does that make sense to you? Yeah.
You like that broken down?
Yeah.
Just like that. And so if you're watching this and you want to invest with us, like, figure out one of those 3 things that you can add value to and insert yourself into a deal. Because do we have deals?
We do.
We have deals, right? We're closing on a deal when? What's the next deal we're closing on?
Tomorrow.
I think it's Wednesday.
Oh.
I think they pushed it back a day. I think originally it was tomorrow.
Wednesday.
So we're closing on a deal Wednesday. That deal, do we need help on that deal right now?
No,
that does fund. But we have another one that's under contract that we'll hopefully be talking about next week, and give someone an opportunity to wedge themselves into a deal. They can work with us. And guess what? If you have deals, what should they do if they have deals and they want to invest with us?
Yeah.
Bring your deals. We want to invest with you, right? And so whether you want a wholesale fee, whether you want to be a lender on that deal, maybe you even want some equity on that deal. We'll see about that. Come play with us. That's how you can invest with us. Find us deals. Maybe you can bring some funding to the table. Maybe you can manage a deal, somehow bring some value. But at the end of the day, like, we want to invest with you, and hopefully you want to invest with us.
Yep.
Cool. All right, Katie. Anything else you want to give the fine people out there? Any sort of advice on how to get their first deal?
No, Monday's the best day of the week still.
Monday's still the best day of the week. Cool. Well, I appreciate you guys for listening, and go take some action. Go get into some problems. Go make some mistakes, and then bring them here. Go get into some trouble.
Mistakes make great stories.
Mistakes make the best stories. All right. I think we're out for today.
We're out.
All right. My name's Logan Manzanares.
Katie Manzanares.
And we're out.
Bye.
Bye, guys.